Okay, I think we'll get started. If you're coming from the GML project, I encourage you to look at the introductory video to this to make sure you're in the right course. Okay, we're going to talk about the very last law that we need. We need these three laws that we've been mentioning now the past three lectures. The junction law, Kirchhoff's junction law, the Ohm's law, which we've talked about last time, and then now today we're going to talk about Kirchhoff's loop law. Before we get started, let's look at the components. We've kind of seen this before, but let's put them all together now. The components of a circuit, these will constitute the things we'll see here. So this symbol we've been using for battery. This is the typical battery signal. Just a line here will represent a wire. We have a junction, and this is what we look at for the junction law. We have multiple or more than two wires coming in to a single point here. We typically do not consider that to be a junction there. Also note, we can take and in our heads distort the wires. So if we wanted to go like this or something like that, that's still a wire. We can stretch it, bend it, all sorts of things, and it'll still function as a wire. These two plates here will represent a capacitor, and then this will represent a switch in the open position, and this would represent a switch in the closed position. Sometimes we'll see those specifically written out, or sometimes you might just see the switch, or you might see a little arrow indicating state 1 is closed, state 2 is open, and so on. So we may not necessarily see two circuits drawn next to each other, one with the open and one with the closed. It might be needed in our heads to just take it as you can close or open that switch. Okay, junction law, we've seen already. Current in equals current out. So when we have a junction like this, current in equals current out. And the new one for us now is the Kirchhoff's voltage law or Kirchhoff's loop law. Those two are the same thing. And what that says is that if we go all the way around in a loop, our voltage total, if we add up all the voltages to get all the way around in a loop, has to be equal to 0. So we can't accumulate voltage by imagine an electron going around and around and around in a circle. It can't accumulate or go to a different state voltage if it gets all the way back to where it came from. So the voltage of where it came from, if it comes back again, that voltage has to be the same. So that's the crux of the loop law. So really the two laws are just really common sense laws. So current in equals current out of a junction, and if we get back to where we started, our voltage has to be 0. So let's look at that in a typical circuit. So what we want to do is we want to start our electron here, or not start our point here. So we can start anywhere, but let's start our point here on this side of the battery. And we're going to say we're going to look at the change in battery of this, or change in the voltage of this loop. So we know by Kirchhoff's law that's 0, but what is it here in this circuit? So as we move this point from here to here, since we're going against the grain of the battery here, we're not moving an electron here, we're just moving, imagine a test charge, a test positive charge. We're moving against the grain of the battery, so that gives us a -6 here. And then our current continues through here. We're going to drop voltage here, so that's going to be E1, E2, E3. These will all come in as positive voltages if we do this direction. We follow the conventional current, and then we get back to 0. So the change, or the voltage difference across each component, these deltas are just the voltages that we calculate locally with Ohm's law. So we can really see how the local Ohm's law is going to come in. Now let's analyze the circuit without using Ohm's law. We don't actually need it here, even though that would be a very effective way to do this, is just do a local application of Ohm's law. But let's not do that. Let's say we've got no current here. We don't know the current here, so let's call that I. It's a single loop. There is no junction. So that means I times R, these are R1, R2, R3. So I times R is going to be our voltage. And so there's going to be a common I in each of these. So we're going to be able to pull that out, and then we'd have 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is 6. So we'd get 6 equals 6I divided by 6, and we get the current of 1 amp in this loop. Now let's go ahead and check this with Ohm's law. So let's check this. E1. Well, now we know the current is. Actually, let's check this with our old method. With our method we learned from last time. This will be a good review. So we'll come here. This will be total. So that's going to be 6 ohms. So E equals IR total. So we're applying Ohm's law here globally. But the total current is in this single loop. So the total current is just going to be the current for this system, just I here. So now we can go and apply Ohm's law locally. So we drop 1 volt across here. So as we go from here to here, we pick up 6, we drop 1 volt. So let's write this out now. 0 minus 6 plus 1 volt we drop. Then E2 is equal to 2 times 1. So we're going to drop 2. And then finally we have E3 3 volts. And we see that by applying Ohm's law locally as well. Now, so we see there's kind of a redundancy in these 3 laws if we just have a circuit like this. But we may have a circuit like this, which we haven't learned how to do yet. But let's look at it just from the perspective of the loop law. And the next time we'll go into circuits like this where we can just apply everything that we know to it. So let's look at this. Now, here's an important concept that we want to make sure that we really have this down. Battery, negative end, positive end here. This is just wire, right? This is wire, wire. So this, you can think of this as just one big metal sheet, right? Or conductor. So that means that the negative is going to be the same over here. The voltage has to be the same everywhere. So if this is 6 volts and this is 0, then this is 0 and 0, right? And then this is going to be, because this is all connected, 6 and 6. So it feels like we're getting voltage out of nowhere, but it's not really. This is all stuck to the same battery. And remember, the battery will it'll supply as much charge as it needs, as long as it doesn't get bogged down, to maintain the voltage. Well, it needs to maintain this voltage difference across here. So that means E1 is equal to 6 and E2 is equal to 6. Now let's look at the junction. Junction's right here. So we have 1 current going in and 2 coming out. And so by the junction law, we get I0 equals I1 plus I2. Now let's apply Ohm's law. So 6 is 2 times I1 and 6 is 3 times I2. So we're able to get the individual currents of I2 and I1. So we get 3 amps going through here, 2 amps going through here. So then the total, or not total, but I0, the amps coming in, is going to be 2 plus 3 equals 5 amps. And so we see here now the seeds of doing this circuit analysis. And so your job now is just to get a good handle on the loop law a good handle on Ohm's law and a good handle on the junction law. We have one more concept to talk about, and that is, what is the resistance when we're in parallel like this? So we'll come back to this type of a circuit, and then we're ready to just really take off with our circuit analysis.